Welcome back to Income Trading 101. Today is April the 10th, 2021. Today we're going to take a look at VeChain. I'm looking at the Binance US exchange, and this is VeChain versus the US dollar. There might be some other symbols out there that have more volume for this, but I like to just look at it versus the dollar, so I'm comparing apples to apples when I look at other cryptocurrencies. So let's go ahead and dive into this analysis. This coin is or token has clearly just popped. It's seen a great March, a great 2021 first off, but March and the beginning of April have really this thing has really exploded. So let's just do a little bit of analysis to see if there's anything that should concern us before considering buying this coin. I'm going to use the 10-day, turn this green. I like using my moving averages, follow the same system every time I do an analysis, just so that, again, I see similar patterns and am comparing apples to apples. The worst thing is if you use a different set of analysis tools for every time you go to make a trade. It's hard to have repeated success. So I'm going to pull this all the way on back just to catch this upward move, and you can see that by and large on the daily, this thing is still pulling higher. We've got our 10-day moving average is higher than our 20, and that's significantly higher than the 60, mostly because the slope of this line changed significantly in February of 2020, and arguably March just really took it away. You went from a one slope to a much higher, much steeper slope, and it's just tearing away at this point. If you owned this thing for a penny just a few months ago, and now it's trading 14 cents, that's 4x on your money in a matter of just a few months. Pretty amazing. Let's take this down to the 1 hour level and see. So the 1 hour, we're still getting very much still bullish action with all three moving averages in line with one another. They did have a little bit of a correction back on the 7th earlier this week, but largely still going in one direction. So if we take it to the 30-minute and probably the 15-minute as well, we're going to see the same sort of upward strength. Although at the 15-minute, you get a lot more crossovers, but I would be more probably less concerned about a 10 period and a 20 period crossover. I'm more interested in just making sure that it's staying above the 60 period, and that the 60 period is tracking pretty well. So a 60 period on a 15-minute is going to be what, a 15 hour basically. See if I did that correctly. 15 times 4, so 15 hours. So a little bit longer, like a half a day, a little more than half a day trend, and that still is very much upward sloping, and the others are above that as well pretty strongly. Let's take a look. We'll take this back to the daily, and we're gonna pull out the good old MACD. Now, I don't think the MACD is going to give us any real additional information because of the way it responds to these trend lines, a long-term trend. It tends to stay, like you can see, we've stayed positive, meaning we've stayed above what's called the zero line. So values above the zero line are in the overbought category, and as long as this as long as this is trending higher, VeChain is trending higher, the MACD is going to stay above it. So these momentary crossovers are less important to me. But I'm sure if I take this down, we'll take it down to the 1 hour, we might see a little bit different. So there you go. With this pullback back on the 7th, you had a crossover where the MACD line went below the signal line and it crossed the zero line. So this cross action here that we saw later in the day on the 7th actually was a legitimate buy signal as well. Legitimate buy signal. And you would have caught another possibly 4 cents, 40% in terms of return since that point. So when this cross happened and it pulled above, I mean, we were still trading at 10, 11 cents in this in VeChain. So let's take this down to the 30-minute just to confirm. I want to see that things are still kind of moving kind of one directionally. And I think in the 15, it's going to be a little more volatile. You had a crossover that happened, a buy signal that happened back on the 9th, and it went ahead and crossed as well, crossed the 0 line. So that would have been a strong buy, and we really haven't seen a sell signal since then. A sell signal would be this red line, the signal line, staying above the blue MACD line, but I also want to see it cross the 0 line like it did back here, right? You would have had a sell signal here or arguably here, but most likely this on April the 9th, and then it crossed later that day. It crossed the signal line. I'm sorry, it crossed the 0 line, and then would have given a crossover here, which would have been a sign that it's time to go ahead and get long, or at least close your short. Now, you obviously can't short crypto. It's just a matter of how long do you want to be, and when you have this sort of strength, like I talk to a lot of contrarian investors, contrarian traders, retracement type traders. You know, don't fight strength. Fighting strength for the number of times you're going to be wrong versus right, it's just hard to make the payoff truly work so that you end up with a positive profit at the end of the month or at the end of the year for that matter. Let's go ahead and take one last look. Now, I would normally pull out the Fibonacci analysis, but clearly there's no retracement here. So you don't need the Fibonacci. What I will do is look at some of these price channels just so you get a better sense of when I'm saying that the slope of the line changed. There are several periods where we've seen some slopes change in this asset. So all of these are valid. Then of course the most recent pretty amazing. So I'm even going to pull that back. I'm going to ignore some of what happened in the last day, just so we can get the majority. My goal is not to get every data point inside of my trend line. It really, when I'm doing these channel analysis, my goal is simply to look for these sort of breakouts, and also like I want to get like 95% of the price data inside of it, and I'll feel like I've done a good job. So yeah, you can just see this thing has been on fire. I don't know if you guys trade VeChain. It certainly has popped up on my radar. I don't trade it yet, but just doing this analysis makes me think it might be one of the fun ones to own here in the coming. I mean, all of these DeFi tokens have just been amazing this year. So, you know, this is not one of the ones I own. If it's one that you own, feel free to leave a comment. And as usual, thank you guys for watching this video. And if you would, please leave a comment in the channel and subscribe to the channel. Make these videos. I definitely focus on cryptocurrency on the weekends. Tend to do stock during the week, maybe some Forex. So I trade a little bit of everything. I don't know if you guys only trade one or two assets, but if you have skills like a technical analysis or you understand options or something like that, you actually can take that skill across various platforms, various asset classes, and make money trading. So that's my whole goal. That's why I don't stick to just crypto or just stock or anything. I trade futures too. I mean, I like to trade. I like to make money in the market. So if that's you as well, definitely subscribe to this channel and follow along with me on this journey. All right. Hey, have a great weekend. Happy trading.